You this evening. Thank you for braving the elements out there. I don't think, is it raining yet out there? Oh, good. Perfect. Well, then we'll have more stragglers coming in, but thank you for being here. This is it's interesting when we were talking about programming Ghost Fleet during Halloween week, we figured there might be a little confusion. So, just in case you're here, there will be people murdered and no, but we were so happy to be able to have you here. Just how many of you have been to EarthX before? Can you raise your hand? And how many have not been to EarthX? I love that. Thank you so much for all being here. So just to give you a very brief history, Trammell Crow founded EarthX in 2011, and he said that basically long-term sustainable change could only happen if nonprofits, educational institutions, government entities, and corporations all look beyond party lines and work together to come up with solutions. So it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or a conservative or a liberal, or you go to the Angelica or the Magnolia Theater, you're all part of the solution. So tonight, it's really special because unless you are educated to something going on, particularly somewhere at the opposite end of the world, you have no understanding the fact that what we do here in Dallas affects the rest of the planet. And so because of this philosophy and because of what Trammell Crow created, we have the largest environmental conference, expo, film festival in the world here in the DFW area. So of course the green capital of America would be Dallas and Fort Worth. And our big believer is that you don't necessarily need to preach to the choir, you need to preach to those who need to understand change. And so because of that, you can be a part of the change. And I see a lot of friendly faces here, people who've been supportive, artists, storytellers, filmmakers, all the way from the Deep Ellum Film Festival in 1999. It's begun to set in. But anyway, we're so happy. We've got some incredible partners. There's some of them who you saw up on the screen, but who helped make this possible, and I would assume that some of you are with them. We want to make sure that you enjoy tonight. We want to make sure that you get involved with what we're doing, that you volunteer, that you exhibit, that you attend. But 177,000 people attended our event this last year. We had 700 plus organizations, 450 speakers, almost 8,000 youth that attended. And this is all because, working together we can do something. So we want you to come join us, particularly with April 17th through the 26th. Put it on your calendars, but it's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So what a great day for us all to get together. It's also the 10th anniversary of EarthX. So you've got a great reason. I hope you had a chance to check out the virtual reality exhibit that we have. And I always want to thank Tiffany Kieran for helping do such a great job with the programming, and partners at Vulcan and different groups who help give us this amazing content. But we had the largest eco virtual reality festival in the world this last year. So 49 virtual reality experiences to go along with the 63 features and shorts that we showed. 72 filmmakers from 35 countries. I've now rattled everything off I know, so I'm done. And the interest in moving forward, I also want to thank Smurfit Kappa, who's a big supporter and sponsor of our festival, and EarthX. Those sort of collaborations that help make this possible. I also want to thank Mosaic Family Services, the North Texas Coalition Against Human Trafficking, Dallas CASA, and I'd like to invite up actually Noel Mendoza and Bill Bernstein to come up and say a few words to you.
Thanks very much. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thanks for coming. I just want to echo that thanks and appreciation to all of you for showing up. My name again, Bill Bernstein. I'm Deputy Director of Mosaic Family Services. We've been serving trafficked persons since 2001, when in America we really just started becoming aware of the reality of trafficking. And our first trafficking case was a group of people that were coming from a labor trafficking situation. They were working in a factory in the island of American Samoa, that's a territory in the South Pacific. It's a long story. I'm not going to tell you the story. The reason I'm even mentioning it is because It's really, we deeply appreciate the fact that EarthX Film has made this movie about specifically labor trafficking, that the producer, John Browermaster has devoted himself to this. It's really encouraging to see this, because from our experience, large numbers of the cases that we've worked on have been labor trafficking, and you don't hear about that. It's something that's under the surface, it's very much hidden. It's very difficult to uncover cases of labor trafficking. People that are trafficked do not see themselves as being trafficked, don't make an outcry. So we're very grateful that there's such a film as this. We're happy that all of you have come to see it. I want to assure you that it's happening not only in the ocean off of Thailand and Indonesia, it's happening in Dallas. There's human trafficking all over. There's a lot more than people think. And thanks again. I'll give the mic to Noel Mendoza.
I got my own. Good evening. I don't think anybody gets tired of being thanked, so thank you everyone for being here. I am Noel Mendoza. I'm the Human Trafficking Outreach Director at Mosaic Family Services. And just to kind of highlight a little bit of what we do at Mosaic is we're a nonprofit here in North Texas, and we work with victims of domestic violence, human trafficking, both labor trafficking and sex trafficking, men, women, adults, and children. And we also have a refugee services program. And for those persons, we have an array of comprehensive services, which include counseling, legal services. One of our attorneys is actually here. He's awesome. We also have a shelter, case management services. And all of this is necessary to provide, again, that comprehensive response to victims going through these terrible situations. We are also proud of being one of the founding members and coordinators of the North Texas Coalition Against Human Trafficking, which is a local coalition, and it is comprised of over 40 member agencies, all of which work with trafficking victims in various capacities, which include mental health, healthcare, legal services, and so on. So it is with that collaboration that we're able to not limit our scope when it comes to the reach that we have in working with survivors of this crime. So I think we, as data sites, is that how you say it? Okay, let's say data sites, we as residents from Dallas, we should be very proud of the fact that we are a focal point when it comes to a response to this crime happening here in our state and in our city. So again, thank you for bringing attention to this, and thank you for being here.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much. I'm just going to peek at my notes for one moment to make sure before I don't leave somebody out. I also wanted to, any of the EarthX and EarthX film team that are here, will you raise your hands, please? I always want to give them a big round of applause. They work very hard. I'm hiding back in the way over there. And our official ambassador, John Hayden, is back in there, so we're always appreciative of his support. And if you haven't seen it, if education is what you're into, beyond the films, there's also educational programs we do, youth programs we do. If you're into fun and glamorous events that raise money for our charity, the Global Gala is a big event that we're going to be holding at the Statler this year, so there's lots of ways to get involved. We ask you also join the movement. Look for, post things, make sure and tag us so that you tell people you were here and you tell people that you saw this incredibly moving film. You're going to see a trailer also for a movie called The River and the Wall, which is a screening that we've got coming up in November, and that'll be at the Texas Theater with Ben Masters. We showcase this. I'll let the trailer speak for itself, but it's an interesting view that allows you to look at what the impact would be on nature in the building of a wall along the Rio. So kind of a non-political look at it. I'm going to introduce now just one of our favorite people who's been such a big supporter of what we've done and has been there from the beginning. We haven't figured out where exactly we met, whether it was an island or somewhere else, but John Bowermaster is one of those storytellers that's decided that protecting the planet and using his gift of storytelling in the media is one way to make change. And he's worked with some incredible people. He's a 6-time grantee of the National Geographic Expeditions Council. He's one of the Society's Ocean Heroes. He's written 11 books and produced and directed more than 30 documentaries, including dear President Obama, which made a run through Texas and Fort Worth, Antarctica on the edge after the spill, and then Ghost Fleet. His Nat Geo sponsored Ocean's 8 project took him and his team around the world by sea kayak for 10 years. I think it was a good gig. And then everything from the French Polynesia to Tasmania. He lives in New York. His group, Ocean 8's film, is focused on short films, particularly the Hudson River Valley, the birthplace of the American environmental movement. We spent a great evening together on the Crow boat one night with Robert Kennedy, giving us a history of the Hudson, and it was amazing. He also is a lecturer at Bard College, and if you haven't heard it, he's got a radio show and a podcast, The Green Radio Hour with John Bowermaster. So, and luckily we've been tracking this film since it was a trailer for a short film at Sundance 3 years ago, and so we're so proud that he came with us and has helped us shed this film tonight. Let me introduce John Bowermaster.
Thank you, Michael. I don't know, whoever you were describing sounded really old. Yeah, and John suggested the reason that the things dragged on so long is the resumes. We got to cut that bio down. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your opening intro too. It seemed, I'm in Texas here, and everything seems to be the biggest. Right? Yeah. Thanks so much for coming out. Yeah, this film that we're going to watch has a great long history. It goes back. The story behind the story is it took 6 or 7 or 8 years really to make it. It began as a 2-part radio report by a radio journalist named Shannon Service, who had never made a film. And she reported it ran in 2 parts on All Things Considered in the morning on NPR. And, one thing led to the next. We met, I'd made a bunch of films, she'd never made a film, she had a great story. I kind of knew I had an idea of where to find the money, which is key in these things. But that was 6 or 7 years ago, so it's had a long trajectory. The film premiered at the Telluride Film Festival 1 year ago, Labor Day, so it's been out there for a year. And it continues to get interest around the world, really. We get invitations still to festivals on an almost daily basis, so we're very thrilled that it's out there. It's a really important story. It will bum you out a little bit. There's some sadness in here. We considered early on printing up Ghost Fleet tissues to put at the end of the aisle. But ultimately, you'll leave with a sense of optimism because I'm a big fan I tell a lot of environmental stories in my work, and I'm a big fan of what I call accidental environmentalists, people who kind of stumble into these issues. Usually it's because they've got a pipeline running through their backyard or the drinking water is contaminated. But this was not their intention to devote their lives to these issues. And the woman we follow in this film from Bangkok, Fatima, is kind of like that. She was in social work, but she never knew that her life was going to be consumed by helping to rescue men who'd been enslaved on fishing boats. So thank you for that. We're going to have a Q&A. I attend a lot of screenings. I'm thrilled that you guys are here, but what I really like is the follow-up, the question and answer, because that's where you guys learn a lot and I learn a lot too. So thanks for that.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it. So we will see you afterwards for a Q&A. One thing I always just remind people is no cell phones during this, regardless of where you're sitting, because everyone behind you gets to read your text. But if you need to take a call, please move outside and respect everyone else. But thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you at the Q&A afterwards. Enjoy.